The periods where I felt the most tension in my life is in acknowledging my role as a mother and then acknowledging my role as a career person.
Today, I have with me the beautiful Ruth Anne Richardson.
My energy as a landscape for me is dynamic. It's non-static. It's defined by motion, transformation, and flow.
When you think of the word balance right now, what does it mean to you?
It's a difficult thing to try to explain, but I look to a traditional word of Japanese, Nagomi. It's a process of unifying different elements of different sizings, of different forms, but then putting them together in a way where you can appreciate a full composition. I realized two words, adapting and pivoting. They've become very important to the way I manage to juggle. So there's a catch and release process. You have to be able to acknowledge when it is you are at your most high points of pressure. Being silent does not mean being completely still. I have periods of very deep, intense reflection. And usually what I'd like to do within those periods is to understand my thoughts. Every emotion that you feel is transient. It comes and then it goes based on whatever triggers your mood.
Welcome to Seraban Conversations. I am your host, Patty, for today. And on this episode, we are speaking about the juggle. The juggle is real and finding sunlight in motion. Today, I have with me the beautiful Ruth Anne Richardson, who is an architect, a lecturer, and an advisor. I'm not going to go too deep into that. I want her to tell me herself who she is so that we understand why we brought her on to speak about balance. Hi, Ruth Anne.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me on the program.
Are you really well, or is the generic answer?
You can never be too well.
Okay.
But I think for the period of time we're talking, I'm as good as can be.
That's amazing.
I've been dressed by Seraban. What else can I ask for?
There's just a way the Seraban piece will uplift you.
I know.
And so I understand that thoroughly.
Yeah.
So if your mood was a landscape,
Ooh.
What would it be?
So my energy as a landscape, that's an interesting one. My energy as a landscape, I think for me is dynamic. It's non-static. It's defined by motion, transformation, and flow. I identify more with these transformative elements than static. So my landscape is not, let's say, mountains and valleys. It's more the elements of kinetic and potential forces.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so when you think about that, you think about water. You think about waterfalls, rivers, lakes, and the way they possess this kind of force. Yeah. So I think for me, that's how I would want to define my landscape. As an architect as well, it fits in well with my creative process. So,
yeah. Awesome. I love that. I love that. So now I want you to tell me a bit about yourself. Who is Ruth Anne?
Well, as I said, I'm an architect, but I wear many hats. I'm also a mother.
Okay.
I work very closely with academia as well. I'm all round.
Okay.
I'm all round.
Okay.
I currently work with the Bank of Ghana, but as an architect with the Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
I've run a studio of my own prior to joining the bank.
Okay.
And I typically, just like you see me, I'm very reserved, but then when I'm in spaces where I need to interact, I can also adapt.
Just like water.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
I love that you spoke to the fact that you wear many hats. And for somebody that has so many things to do, what would you say is a morning routine you have that sets the tone for the day?
I love music.
Okay.
My morning routine, I think, is it's a big part of that. Music for me, all genres of music. So whenever I need to uplift myself, the first thing I look to is music. I love my morning connections with my girls as well. Those are the unintentional routines. Sometimes you're not available to be able to do that, to always be there for them. But the one constant I have is music, wherever it is I go.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
What does the morning with the girls look like typically?
The weekdays is part of the juggle. So you're taking them to school, you're trying to find moments of bonding with them within those very brief periods of time. But I like to call my girls the sun and the moon, They have different personalities. So you always kind of have to find out, which one you're tapping into at whatever point in time. But yeah, we love our moments together. And I think that's the part of life that centers me, and that's part of what I enjoy most.
Awesome. I love that. When you think of the word balance right now, at this very moment in your life, what does it mean to you?
That was a very interesting question when I looked at what you had planned out for us. Balance. It's a difficult thing to try to explain, but I look to a traditional word of Japanese, Nagomi,
Okay.
in trying to explain what balance has come to mean to me. Now, Nagomi seeks to describe a process.
Okay.
It's a process of unifying different elements of different sizings, of different forms, but then putting them together in a way where you can appreciate a full composition. And it's an analogy that I like to now use to describe life. You have different moments of time where your experiences shape you, but you can never really understand, why it's happening at a particular time the way it is until you start to piece the full picture together. And you can only do that by finding those areas of connection from one to another, but allowing yourself, accepting that each moment is something that forms that full picture of your reality. So I think for me, balance really is defined by Nagomi. Yes.
And I really see your architect hat at play here because it's like different elements and making sure that they come together beautifully.
Yeah. But then you realize even in fashion, you have that, you'd have different geometric forms, colors, shapes, textures coming together. And it's up to the creative mind to be able to see how to unify these different parts. It's no different from design and architecture as well. So
that's amazing. So for you to be able to find balance, you need to be intentional about the design.
You have to be intentional. You have to look for those moments where the concept can shine through at any point in time. I think that's you've put it beautifully. That's what it's about.
I love this so much. Amazing. So you have built an amazing career. You mentioned that you had your own practice before, coming back into the corporate space,
public space, yes.
And, raising your girls and being able to handle all of these seasons. Would you say there have been moments where you felt stretched in all the roles that you are showing up in?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the periods where I felt the most tension in my life is in acknowledging my role as a mother and then acknowledging my role as a career person, not just a career woman anymore. I think we've moved past that, but you would realize that these two roles are very demanding in different directions. As a creative, you need that kind of headspace to be able to sit and think through the logic, the function, the aesthetics of a design. When you're in that space, it's difficult to let anybody in. But I believe there was a period in my life where my kids were younger, much younger. So they also they're connected to you in a way where you're their whole world.
Yeah.
When a child first opens their eyes, you're usually cradling them, and so they see you as their center. Within those periods of time, I think that's the period I felt the most tension. But then I realized two words: adapting and pivoting. They've become very important to the way I manage to juggle. So there's a catch and release process. You have to be able to acknowledge when it is you are at your most high points of pressure. And that's another thing I like about the first question you asked me about, the analogy of landscapes.
Yeah.
Because you realize there are moments within every environment where you have high pressure, high heat, the tensions there are so much. But then those are also the moments where you have periods of crystallization. So you think about how crystals are formed. It's through that point of pressure, that you have that. So I've learned a lot in my life to keep pivoting, keep finding moments of peace and sanity. And you can also do that by allowing access to other people. I think we women sometimes think that we should do it alone. It's impossible to. It's impossible to. You have mother figures, even father figures sometimes, who play such a vital role in helping you adapt. So I've come to rely on them and just realize that sometimes people come on and off your bus. Some are more permanent than others, some are temporary, but they all sort of help you to manage and cope. Yeah.
I think this episode is for me. It's for you guys. We recorded for you guys, but it's for me because I feel like I'm currently in that season where it's like you've given me language to that season I'm in now of high tension. And it's also crystallizing me. And so I need to be able to adapt. I need to be able to find those pockets of peace, for my sanity. If not.
Exactly. Look, and it's not easily found. I think my understanding of balance and adaptability has evolved a lot. Because those moments where we just talked about, sometimes they can be so overpowering. And you may not, like you said, you may not be even able to give it language to understand what's going on with you. So you get to a point where you can be so brought down by it, but once you begin to understand who you are better and understand that every element of your life has been ordered and you can find balance and form and composition and purpose from all of them, you begin to better appreciate, what your unique identity is in the world. And I think that's everything. Yeah.
So I'm sensing that self-awareness is important in that mix. Yes. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
So you need to be able to admit to yourself that you have a start point. And life is not about the life is about the journey, really, really simply put. So I think for me, I've had very key or very important role models and persons that I can look up to that have sort of given me some precedence as to how life can be led, given whatever direction you're choosing, But you need to open yourself up to moments to shape you. I don't think there's anybody who's been able to go through life without challenges who's actually been able to say they know themselves, It's through those moments of hardship, difficulty, turbulence that you find yourself. And I was intrigued by the subject matter for our discussion because you realize, although we're talking about the sun in motion, really, it is the earth that does revolve around the sun. And the pull of the sun to the earth is what keeps it in constant motion. So even when you're taking very little steps, you're still making motion. You're still allowing your sun to rise and fall. And it's very important that we all sort of recognize that through our challenges, one step at a time, whether it's a guided step, whether you're able to take it alone, you just need to be able to move and just keep moving. I think for me, my center is my children. So whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed, I still know I need to make a move for them. But like I said before, I'm also inspired by music, and that's something for me, So we need to be able to find our centers, whatever they may be. It's a key part of our self-awareness.
Wow. I feel like a mother could typically say, I find it rare that you say that your children are your centers because of how demanding that role is. But for somebody, it could be the thing that takes so much from them.
I know.
Do you see how it can contrast?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy because they have so much dependency, and at different age ranges. It doesn't matter whether they are 2 or whether they are 4, they're always going to want to need their mother,
Yes.
And mother figures. So it's not easy managing. And that's where I like to always say that I have not been able to do it alone. I have not done it alone. There are moments where I've had my own mother as a support, and a very important one. But then there are also persons that come in and out of my life that have all sort of played roles. And it's important to try to just exercise that kind of catch and release. Nothing is given that cannot be taken. But then as well, things are given to you when you need them. So you hold on to them as much as you can. But the trick is in being able to let go and just understand that there's something different along the way open to you. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to base my next question on that.
Yeah.
Being able to let go. I want us to talk about the changing seasons in life and being able to identify that the season is over.
Yes.
And another is unfolding.
Yes.
How do you navigate that, especially when you feel like things are not going as planned?
The landscape, that landscape that I tried to paint for you. So what I said was, there's nothing that's static, and it's important that I recognize that. I think sometimes our energies can be restless. There are things we want to do with our lives. There are drives that we have that we know connect into some larger purpose, but there's always an impediment that can stand in your way if you allow it. But then, just like there are different states of being, you can be solid at any point in time, you can be fluid, you can allow for change if you want to. And it's a very important thing for us in this society right now. A lot of women, I think, they suffer because they cannot find their access points, nor can they find a point flow for their energies. So you have a lot of people who have so many thoughts of giving up on life, really, sometimes. You need to be able to connect into something or someone else. Just the willingness to be softer and give yourself an opportunity to glean something from someone else is important. And also, as women in the positions we are in, we need to also be able to give that support, be accessible to other women, younger women, to show them that there is a way that they can manage through it.
As you speak, right, I can literally sense what you're talking about through you being able to modulate your energy and using the reference of being water. If your energy, if we used the nature as a
reference point,
reference point, and I'm just thinking that you've spoken about being able to adapt. And so for water, if you are in an environment that requires you to become ice, you become ice to be able to.
Can you imagine being a solid block of ice in a molten state? It's not possible. And I think that's all that we just need to recognize, that life gives us states of being, different environments to prove that we can adapt. That's what life is about. So we rely on each other. I mean, even this conversation for me is inspiring to me, because I realize I'm not alone in the way I think about things, the way I'm challenged about things. So it's important for us.
I sense that your energy, you are very grounded in yourself. For somebody that finds themselves in a very chaotic phase, which is the kind of energy you carry now, the energy I'm sensing from you now is rare to find, especially with somebody that's wearing so many hats. Have you always been this way, or you have nurtured it?
I've nurtured it.
Okay.
I've nurtured it. You need to understand how you evolve. I think in my life, I've had periods where I've been very below who I want to be, and getting up has not been easy. But I don't know what it is. Maybe for some people, you would call it faith. And I'm Christian based, so I rely a lot on that faith. Sometimes, as much as you may want to reach out to someone, you may have nobody. you need to recognize what your faith base is as well. I think beyond the tangibles, there are those intangible things that also give us strength enough to get through moments in time. But it's important that we realize we're strong enough, especially as women, to be able to get through them. That adaptability, I think, is unique to our genetic makeup. It doesn't take one person to bring a child into the world, but usually the nurturing part is very, very solely dependent on the mother. So we've been given a natural adaptability to life, and I think we just need to know how to nurture it and kind of ground ourselves in developing beyond what we know.
Right. Are you able to, and this may be a tough one, are you able to speak to how to be able to nurture this? Because I want to, I'm really, I have the person watching this who is desiring this softness, this energy. I know that as an architect, maybe if you go on site and you see the artisans doing rubbish on site, it's not the same energy we are going to
have the same personality.
Yes, right?
Exactly.
So that was what I was referring to about the ability to modulate your energy. For somebody that this is completely new, they're watching you and they desire this level of calmness, softness. How do I get there? How do I nurture it?
I would say it's a difficult one, because even for myself, I think it's probably a moment like this, a conversation like this, that would give me a period to reflect back on exactly how I've made it work. But I would say that for me, being silent does not mean being completely still. I have periods of very deep, intense reflection, and usually what I'd like to do within those periods is to understand my thoughts and then put them down. By putting them down, you're always able to get back to them, to look at them and to say, okay, I felt this way today. How do I make that difference? Because you don't take it for granted. Every emotion that you feel is transient. It comes and then it goes based on whatever triggers your mood. So some people would reach out to others and have intense discussions with them. Some people, depending on their personalities, may be more internalizing, but then always find a period where you can write down. I encourage my kids. We have this little ritual that we do. We have a jar that we put our thoughts and our hopes and our wishes, all kinds of things inside it. And then maybe at the end of the week, we just pour it out, and then everybody just discovers what everybody else was feeling and thinking. So it gives us some time as well, to share and to kind of just understand what's going on with each person. I think support groups are necessary. I had periods of time where I had to rely on a support group, and I found that very helpful for me. But then, you know what? Internally, there's just this energy that you need to be able to reach for. The tolerance for pain as women, I think our tolerance is high. We have a very high tolerance for a lot of things that go on physically, emotionally, mentally. We have a high tolerance for pain. Our thresholds are high. So allow yourself to reach that point of intense pressure. And within it, the thing that intrigues me about that is that within that period, simultaneously, you have a period of intense focus. For architects, sometimes it gets so chaotic. You have deadlines that you need to meet almost immediately at once. We have something that we call TDB, till daybreak. And so you're sitting down with a design and you are endlessly going over it. But then within that time, you have one moment where all of your point pressures come together and there's a period of crystallization. I think for me, that's one of the key things that I've been able to now learn to rely on, that regardless of the kind of obstacles or the turbulence in my mind, my mental state, my headspace is not clear, there's always going to be that one point of clarity, and then I grab it. I grab it and I don't let go. So there are times where I've had to adapt. Like I mentioned, I've run my own firm. But then I slowly realized that within this economy, you have to be able to shift. So giving way to from the corporate environment to the public space was one of those reasons. It doesn't make me any less of who I am. It simply gives me another environment to bring out the best of who I can be. So we just give ourselves the opportunity to be versatile and dynamic.
Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing. I love there'll be moments of intense pressure, and that simultaneously produces intense focus.
Yeah.
And then that is where the crystallization happens. That's meeting point.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And the fact that you still coming back to water, you still remain water.
You still remain fluid.
You still remain fluid. Wow. It's so amazing.
It's the juggling act. Like you said, it's the catch and release. And we just need to be there for one another. Yeah, we need to be able to encourage that in all of us, because we all have it. I think Ghanaian women have reached the pinnacle of amazing areas in life.
Yes.
We have so many great examples. They've had challenges that sometimes we will not know because we don't share enough. But these are some of the avenues that we do have to trade experiences and then just support each other.
Yes. Yeah. I love this conversation so much.
I do too. Thank you so much.
I love it. So I don't want it to end. But we have a very limited time. Yes. And hopefully Seraban Conversations will give us an avenue to have more of these conversations. So there's a routine thing we do here, since you love routines.
Yes.
We have the sun moment and the root moment.
Okay.
The sun moment is something that has lightened up your week or has inspired you this week. And the root moment is something that has kept you grounded. So please share with us one sun moment and one root moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. My sun moment, definitely my girls. I think during the period of this week, today's Friday. So earlier within the week, I just had incredible news of how well they were doing. It's not just about the academics, but you're always happy when you're getting reports about your children from school that suggests that socially they're developing and they're flourishing. Intellectually as well, they're at the top of their game. And you realize sometimes you've put in very little effort. I think for me, that's the thing that just made me glow, because I realized that my children are also finding their own identity. Their reliance on me will always be there, but they're managing other things for themselves. And that's beautiful for me to sort of, take part in. Yeah. So that's my sun moment for the week.
That's amazing.
My root moments, oh my gosh, there've been so many. But just on the other side of the spectrum, just managing the professional arena. Sometimes it cannot be easy. It's challenging, definitely. And I think we have in our line of work, sometimes we have pressures that are both internal and external.
Okay.
So just being grounded in that, being able to understand how to work with a team, work within the team, and then work to manage the team is very important. Yeah. So that's been my grounding moment for the week. It's still ongoing. But,
awesome. Amazing. So for me, the key highlights from this conversation is your personal identity. Because if you are watching this conversation and you are looking to find your balance, the goal is not to become as calm and collected as Ruth Anne here. The goal is to be able to find what is balance for you, what's that energy focus for you that you can modulate as and when. But at the core of it all, that you still remain water, whether you have to adapt to become ice, whether you have to become liquid or vaporized, you still remain what? H2O. Right. So
and forget about the facade. As women, we sort of play into that sometimes. But when you need to reach out just allow yourself to connect into somebody else. There are several people that come and go from our lives.
Yes.
But it's important for us to be able to reach out sometimes.
This has been such an interesting conversation. It's been enlightening for me personally. Ruth Anne has given me language to the season that I'm currently in. And I pray that it's done same for you. And if this has been a blessing for you, then kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel so that we can bring you more conversations that are uplifting and enlightening. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.